Welcome to our second episode of Kitchen and Culture. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Sylvia Mange Alene, and I am the co-founder and president of Kulea Culture Society. Kulea Culture Society is a society whose purpose is to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion in our communities through education, through events, and through programs like this one. But before I continue, I would like to make a land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations, on which land we gather, we work, and we raise our families. And now I would like to introduce to you our chef for tonight. Here we have Kim and Dan. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, you're right.
And I have her daughter here, and Wendell. So both of them together, they will bring to you, in the comfort of your home, flavors from the South Vietnam, and also stories from the South Vietnam and Canada. Enjoy, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Hi,
Sylvia.
everyone.
Hello.
So my name is Ann Nguyen Do, but you can call me Annie at home. It's my nickname. It's what everyone calls me. We're so excited to be here. Do you want to tell them a little bit of what you're cooking today?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kim and Dan, but I prefer to call Kim Dan because in Canada it's easy to call that name. So today I'm so happy and feel so appreciation to join in Korea culture in the cooking show tonight, and we'll show everyone at home to cook the Vietnamese cuisine. It's called Hu Tieu Nam Vàng. It means Vietnamese noodle soup that include with the ribs, prawns, pork, ground pork, eggs, and some of them go with in the broth like dry shrimp and preserved turnips and some daikon, some carrots, and everything combined together. And that noodle soup is actually come from South Vietnam, but it's come from the Hoi An, that is the place, the part of trading of Cambodia and Chinese. When they trading there, they meat in the pot, and the soup come from Cambodia. Original is called Nong Pen soup, and that means Hu Tieu Nam Vàng. That Nong Pen is a Nam Vàng. So when they come in original, just the pork or pork bones go with the soup. But then Chinese get involved with just make the soup more better. That get into some ground pork is made more fat in it. Then Vietnamese want to add some more flavor for that, means prawns and some of the eggs and the dry squid or dry shrimp to make the soup better. So tonight, everything like that combination is come. I will make it. It come by everyone can make different, and they can make it with me because I bring it out to easy way to cook for everyone, and people can do that.
So exciting. So this recipe is actually one of my favorites growing up at home. My mom used to make it all the time. And it's surprisingly one of the very first Asian fusion dishes. You're saying it's Cambodian, Chinese, and Vietnamese all together coming from a trading port in Vietnam. So that's very exciting. start? How should we start?
So today to add on it, because I know is I cook with pork or ribs, that right here. And but people can add it if they cannot eat ribs or pork or red meat. They can cook with the chicken, or they can make it like more like vegetarian. That go with the mushroom, go with the tofu. So we can replace it by the ground pork, by the dry tofu to make it very hard tofu to make it like ground pork, or shrimp or prawns. You can make it by vegetarian, by mushroom. And eggs, if people don't eat eggs in the vegetable or vegetarian, they don't need to put eggs on.
So all of these are not necessarily a requirement, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You can make it your own way, but the step by step you have to follow it. The most very special in the soup that bring the flavor, that's preserved turnips or salty turnips, and this come out from the packet like this. So I got it from Chinatown. Everyone asking me where's I get it. So that is a salted turnips. That's right here. So you can get out about 3 pieces only, or you can add a little bit, couple more if you like more flavorful. Okay. Then of course they go with that is a dry squish. You can see it's so beautiful. I can get it from Chinatown or even in the Korean town grocery. You can get it. However, you just need that piece. That's it to make it the soup, and that in there that made flavorful. Very, very, very good for that.
So the dried squid, or if you have dried shrimp at home, brings that umami flavor to the palate, which is very.
And with the replace for this piece of dry squish, you can add about 10 pieces of dry shrimp.
Okay. Well, should we get started, Mom?
So we will need some dilute some impurity of the ribs. So we will start to cook with the ginger.
You should have a little piece of ginger at home. And what we're going to do, the first step, is to peel the ginger and then slice it into thin slices. And this is part of the blanching of the pork ribs. Right, Mom?
Yes.
Okay. So can I start doing this for you?
Yes. So you can use and peel it and cut about few pieces, put in the pot with water to cook with the ribs. Very, very short cooking to get impurity off.
Okay. So why is it important to do this part? Why can't we just boil the ribs straight?
The reason is sometimes we boil the rib freeze, the cooking with the ribs, that is made the fat still there, plus it's the smell of the ribs. You don't want that smell. So you put the ginger on, it take off the smell and take off the fat better.
Okay, so you just want like a hint of the pork bones, but you don't want all those impurities left behind when you do a first boil,
Exactly,
right?
correctly.
Okay.
So I put the ribs on now.
You're doing it faster than I can peel and chop.
So this one, why is I using 5 pieces? Because I made the recipe to make for 5 people eating tonight. So these are ginger.
Can I put it in?
Yes, so we put it in, just boiling it. Quick boiling with a high heat.
And how long do we blanch it for?
Very fast. When you see the water boiling with the ribs, then again, you can take off the ribs because the impurity can take it off right away. Meanwhile, you can start to do with the prep for the onion, for the carrot, and for the daikon. When we're waiting for that boiling ribs there, then you can start by the cooking soup. So today I will show you how to do the flowers in the carrot. The reason why in Vietnamese, they love to do anything presentation with flowers and look very nice, look very beautiful on the dish they present. If someone cannot do the whole carrot, they can cut in half like this. So easy for holding. So that you can cut in that way, in the round one. Easy. And you made about.
So
3 lines of it.
Okay, so it looks like if you're holding the carrot, what she's doing is she's cutting little ridges along in lengthwise of the carrot. So if you cut your carrot in half and start creating little ridges,
So
is
that's
what she's doing.
That's a one way. I can cut and show you how the carrot come out. That's a one way like this. You can cut a bit shorter, or the other way, you can make it more better way. That is the one like long way.
That's cool. So once you cut along those ridges, Mom, you cut horizontally to produce a flower shape.
That's right. So you can see that, and now it's cut that thick to make the flowers. See that flowers? So it looks really nice when you present to the bowl of the soup or the dish of the soup. You look really amazing looking or beautiful looking. And of course, when the red and green, so they will show how beautiful in it.
So is there any meaning behind why we have so many flower decor in Vietnamese culture, Mom?
Vietnamese love to have something look beautiful because not anything behind. It's just like more culture, is more green, more colorful. Because even Vietnam, if you can have a chance to come to see Vietnam, travel to Vietnam, you can see how beautiful Vietnam is. So
culture is very vibrant, very decorative,
and very rich. So the reason in it, when long time ago, Vietnamese have the culture of the imperial, that is a king and queen live there, and they lead the country. So when you present to the royalty family food, that means you have to present beautiful. So you can see the flowers of the carrot. So that's why you prepare for it. Meanwhile, right now, the ribs are already okay. It's good, boiling so far. I can take off the ribs now and turn off the stove. And now I will add 2 liters water in here, in the pot. So this time you need the cold water because when you're cooking the soup, you need the sweetness out of the ribs, out of the squid, and then on the vegetable. During the cooking process, cooking time, that is the water will vibrate by boiling. So you can allow to add another 1/4 liter in. If you see the broth very reduced too much. So now I have that. I just leave that there. I'll using the thorn, drain the ribs and put right into the pot right here. So why I start carrot first? Because the carrot is cooked, it's harder than cooked longer. When you got the squish, you can do this way or you can cut a little bit bigger. I love to using the head of the squish because you never feel like wasting it. You can use the head. It's more sweeter. And of course, you have to wash it first. So I will wash it now. And this, that's a squish. I put it in. So now it's that ribs in there, that squished in there, and now I'm going to add onion. So with the onion, of course, you have to peel the outside the onion, and you cut it in half. And you can put right into the water. So now I put on the turnips in. So what we have right now, the onion, the ribs, the turnips, and the squish. And now we will add on with the carrot. So that is a carrot will be on. So when they get in boil, then we have to simmering. And you can close the lid so that avoid the vibrate the broth. Hopefully everyone already prepared the clean daikon at home so far. And this daikon is quite large than the way we want to, you can get a smaller. So this one is daikon. You can cut it in half again. And because the people worry about how to cut it, you can put it down in the flat side so it's not it's not dense when cooking, right? So you cut it half like that, and you have it half now. Same thing, you start to do the flowers. So cut the piece off of it.
So we're doing flowers for this one too, or leaves, I guess.
Yeah, you can call whatever is called. I love it called flowers.
That's great. So it looks like she's doing the same thing with the carrots. She's cutting ridges lengthwise down the daikon.
And one piece in the middle here.
Okay, so they're like fans almost.
Yeah, look at the fans. And you know Chinese love fans. So again, you can have that in nicer fans. And with the daikon, you cut it thicker because the daikon is just only water contains the most. So you have that. So Annie will help me. I will finish it, and Annie will help me to cut this.
And you want all of these?
Yes, that's all we. Meanwhile, that even I take off the impurity of the ribs, but you still see some of the impurity on top of that. You can still skim it off. But you don't want that in your soup. You want everything just so unique and so clear the soup broth.
Yeah, so this is a clear broth soup. It should have, at the end, it should have a little bit of a yellow or golden tint, but it shouldn't be opaque at all.
Now you already see the water boil, you can simmer the soup. Meanwhile, you can clean this pot and you start to cook the noodle. Now I can put the daikon in. So again, with the noodle, you can put 2 liters of water to cook noodle. And of course, let it boil first, then you add noodle on. Why? Because that noodle not really soggy when you're cooking. It's just like you cook pasta, you have to let the water boiling first. Then you put the dry noodle in. So right now, I'm going to add with the spice now. I will add on the 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. You can add another half teaspoon, depend on how you taste. Some people have a diabetes, sorry to say that. They don't want to add sugar, it's fine. You don't need to, because the sweet come out from the vegetable, from the meat, and from the squash as well. But the soup original, they need a bit of sugar in it. All right, so we'll measure by the spoon right here, 1 teaspoon of salt.
Of salt?
Yeah. Depend on, if people doesn't like too much salt, they can add half teaspoon.
So what's really nice about how my mom always taught me to cook was to make it a little bit, I wouldn't say bland, but less on the saltier side, because you can always add more salt when you're serving.
Correct.
So salt to taste is that's how you taught me.
Exactly,
right?
because cooking, you have to taste it during the cooking, and you add more spice in it or ingredient in it. You don't need to put everything in it. It's not machine, right? You're cooking, you love cooking, and you can taste it during the cooking show, during the cooking time. So this is another teaspoon of sugar. You put it on. Now, the main thing is, I don't like to using MSG. So I'm using the chicken bouillon or the chicken powder, or you can buy this in Chinatown or in the even Canadian stores of grocery shopping. You can get it there. So you just need for 1 liter, 1 teaspoon of that. So I put 1 teaspoon in there.
Why do you add that and the chicken stock?
Yeah, because make it more rich and nice taste. And you know that the Vietnamese culture, they love everything very nice and pure taste. But the Chinese, they love more rich and fat. Cambodia, at that time, they really, to compare with that 2 countries, they just did everything simple. It's just the pork out and the soup, that's all, and the noodle. But now we add another liter chicken broth in. So when you see the water already boiling, you can add the chicken broth in.
Okay.
So again, remember when I mentioned like beginning, if you see the You see the broth is more boiling and vibrate. You can add about quarter liter, third of liter in. And because I born and raised in a poor country, or they can call it third country, I always want to save every single thing. So I can add a little bit of quarter liter water in here. Then I shake it again and put it over there. So everyone can do that, right? And now I will measure the quarter of water.
So you're adding extra water because of the evaporation, Mom?
Exactly. So I can put in this one. And now just give a very tiny stir, not too hard. Just do like this and pour right inside. So now we do have 2 liters cold water, 1 liter of the broth, and the quarter liter, that means 2 1/4 liter of the water, cold water, and the 1 liter of the chicken broth. And you bring it back to the boiling. So talk about noodle. Original of the noodle soup, they call Nong Pen noodle soup. That means Hu Tieu Nam Vang. Nam Vang is mean Nong Pen. Nong Pen is capital of Cambodia. So Hu Tieu, that means noodle, and that made together is called Hu Tieu Nam Vang. Or you can come to Cambodia, you can order Nong Pen noodle soup. So that is a noodle. However, you can choose a rice noodle. This one you can buy in Chinatown. Again, you can make pho from it. But usually pho, the thicker, a larger piece. This is medium size. Or you can buy they call potato noodles. The potato noodles are more like, don't taste like rice, but it tastes like more sweetness and more like clear. So that's good for you as well. So I'm waiting for that boiling. It's already boiling. Now I put the noodle in. So the noodle in. So why I learned this noodle soup? So when I was young, I born and raised in South Vietnam, and you know Vietnam War. Everyone must know that. And during the time when I'm growing up, the war is 6. I was 6 years old when the war ended in Vietnam. That means 1975. Now you guys know my age. Many restaurants they open and they do have the soup salad, but we are poor. We don't have the money to get to the restaurant. So my mom teaching all my sibling, older sister, how to cook food at home to save money, but still have the soup as you want. So that's why as I was young, I know how to cook. And again, I lost my mom when I was 10. So I start to learn it from it during when I'm growing up. And my dream is want to teach all my girls how to cook, because during the hot time they can cook whatever the flavor or the good favorite food they want to do.
That's great, Mom. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. So the noodle, you put it in. Don't forget to serve it a bit, because if you don't put it in and you not serve it, they get sticky under the pot.
So this pot here, Mom, it's just simmering away. Do you do anything with this, or just let it boil?
Let it boil and we'll simmer it.
Okay, great.
To cook with noodle, it's only around maximum approximate about the time is about 3 to 7 minutes cooking noodle. That means after you boiling water only, you add noodle in, and the cooking time is around 4 to 7 minutes. So that's the time for we drain the noodle in the cold water. So why we drain the noodle in the cold water? That means they're not cooking, keep continue, and separate noodle by pieces, so they not look really
Doesn't stick together.
exactly.
Great.
I will go to drain the noodle now.
Under the cold water.
So under the cold water, you drain until the sticky between noodles off.
Yeah, so you drain it and then you rinse it so it stops the cooking process. Because when you add it to your bowl and put the hot broth on, it's going to start cooking it a little bit again. So then it'll get the noodles perfect and not overly soggy.
So when you drain the noodle, you still have to drain off the water and leave it beside to let it dry, get off the water. And before it, you have to separate it a bit. So you can see the noodle now. See? That's the way is you cook the noodle.
So it should be able to pull without
breaking.
And because if it's too soft, it's going to break apart and then it's going to be mushy, right? You don't want that.
Okay. And the same thing when you drain noodle with the cold water. Some people like to drain with ice water is fine. About 1 minute or 1 minute and a half with the running under the cold water. All right. So this is the noodle you can see. Very nice and still really, really not too tender, not too soft. So still really nice for look and taste. So now we'll show how to cut the onion. So with the onion, you need, I need 3 shallots. So 3 shallots to make the topping with the oil. And you brown it with the oil. And of course, this onion you can cut in small dice, very small dice. And you can cook with the pork. You can cook with the shrimp. So that's the reason you like to do it. So I will show how to do the small dice.
Okay.
Again, peel that off. So this is dice. You cut it in half. You put it down because if you don't put it down, you can feel like slippery when you cut, and that is a danger for you cutting. So you put it down. You can make a hold 2 ends of the onion, and using knife in this way, so hold it tight and slice it down.
Great.
So this is the way I learning from the culinary art school. So I came to Canada. I love cooking so much. And I know my mom teaching me how to cook, but still not enough to present in Canada. So I came to culinary arts to study about how to do everything cooking.
That's great.
So you see how the dicing? That's very tiny, small. With the shallot, you cut a small dice like this, and you put beside. So now I'm going to help out to boiling the eggs. Yeah, so now I'm going to put the eggs in. We need 3 eggs. I put in the cold water cooking. All right, so during the cooking, you always have to taste it. And I never forget to taste it because you maybe add a little bit more salt, more sugar, or more anything, right? So look at the soup is really nice now. And before you taste, you have to stir a bit and you taste it. And this time it's just good. It's not really fantastic yet because I always say if you taste a little bit less, I mean there's not enough love. So it's a bit less salt. You can add a little bit more salt in because I add more water in the end. So I have to add a little bit more 1/4 teaspoon salt in.
And again, this is flavoring towards your taste palette.
So cooking, you have to taste during with the cooking, right? So you have another 1/4 teaspoon salt in.
So Mom, this is quite rare for you having everything measured out, right?
Exactly. My mom never measured cooking and I do not as well.
So now you can just put the pot in the back burner, right? And just let it simmer for a bit?
Yeah, so I let the beef there. It's done. The soup already done. And now I could like any prepare for me the cilantro and the green onion. Plus is a vegetable that is we need it for the Roman lettuce. And Roman lettuce cut into a piece, really not really small. So you can use hand to do it, or you can cut it. So this piece, 1 piece of lettuce, you can make it 2 or 3. So that is the size for you doing the lettuce, because that's for decoration on the bowl. All right. And the green onion and the cilantro. Green onion you have to cut a small, just like dice. But cilantro you have to cut a larger piece. So that is Annie can help me that. And I think everyone can know to do it at home. Now I'm going to do with the brown shallot for topping. 1/4 cups of oil.
So how much oil do we use?
So you need a 1/4 cup.
1/4
And
cup.
what ladder here will be a 1/4 cup. Depending on people love more oil, they can add more, but I prefer not much oil.
So this is just to fry the shallots, right, Mom?
Yes.
So the fried shallots become like a nice, almost like a crispy topping, and it gives some more oomph to the dish when you add it on top.
Exactly. You put the shallot on. You're still using that bowl for store the brown golden shallot. Meanwhile, I would like to show you how to do this garnish the top of green onion. You don't throw it away. You can still using it. My mom always teaching me, and I learned, and I will show them my kids as well. So you using the top of the onion.
It's the bottom of the onion, right?
Yeah, the bottom of
root
the
part?
onion. You cut it by 6 times out. And that come out like this, right? But come out like this does not look nice. But when you're soaking with the cold water, they will be open just like flowers. So I will soak in the cold water now. And if you have ice, that's the most better. The onion shallot start to turn to the brown and bring very, very unique smell. It's amazing with the smell when you turn to the golden brown. Some people like garlic. You can do together with garlic and onion shallot.
But it's not required, right?
Yeah, not required. And take off this. Put the onion in. You can hear the sound of it because the pan's still hot. I don't even turn on the heat yet. Now you already see the onion not turn to brown or golden. You can add the pot in. 80% cooking. Then you can add shrimp in. And this time you can add on 1 teaspoon of paprika. People like spicy, you can add on 1 teaspoon of chili powder. But for me, I'm not who will like spicy, so I just add only 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. I'm going to add it soon because right now I'm still stir the pot. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. So Annie will help me to prep the noodle in the bowl now because that time when we start serving, right? So you see like 80% cooking with the pot, and don't add any water or broth or anything in because the pot and onion will come out the juice, and they stir like this. You see that? And now you can add shrimp on. So you can add 10 shrimp on, or if you want more shrimp, you can add more. In my bag, it's more than 10. So I can just bring it. Because when I thaw the bag, I don't want to put it back. So now 1 teaspoon of paprika. So paprika just made a color. Vietnamese love spicy. So they usually have some spicy in the cooking. So this is 1/2 teaspoon. So now you can stir with the prawns and you turn back the heat a bit. And the prawns, you don't need to cook 100% because again, the water, the broth is still boiling. And the prawn you can cook 95%. If you cook 100%, they come to very hard and it's not good at all, all right? And the pot, of course, is really cooked. So now the eggs, you hold tight in here, and you can, using the knife with a very point knife, and you do one down in the triangle, all right? Don't scare. It just don't go through to your hands, but just gentle it. and triangle until the end.
So how deep do you cut it? Do you cut it
Just
into the
like
yolk?
to the yolk only.
Okay. So as it reaches the yolk, you take it out.
Exactly.
Okay. So it looks like she's cutting almost like teeth, like shark teeth, like triangles, like when you draw teeth into a pumpkin of a jack-o'-lantern, that's what she's doing on the egg itself.
Exactly. Okay, now I open it slowly. Look at that.
Wow,
How beautiful.
that's so
Look like the flower. See? Everyone can do it. It's beautiful. And one egg, you can make it two. Or people here, they make what they call is devil eggs. You can do that and take the yolk out. So now I have the noodle. See? That is you lay it out. And I check it out. Wow, look at the boiling. So first thing I will put the ribs out. See the ribs that you cook is that the way you cook the ribs. When you see the bone show out, that's the rib. You put that right there. 2 pieces of daikon. And different way. You can stand up, that's fine because we have lots of topping. And 2 pieces of carrot. You don't put the shrimp in first. So you're using about 1/4 cup of the topping. Put right on the top. And the shrimp, you can lay out. This time we can make 3 shrimp because I have more than enough than 2. So I put the 3 shrimp in. And this one, as I mentioned, you don't need to cut. When you already washed, you can take it off and put beside like this. So just like the shrimp swim in the river, right? And now you can label the soup. Some people love to see the ribs. Like, people love to present the ribs. You can put the ribs above like that. And you pour the broth on top. And remember the taste of broth, I retaste the second time and add a little bit more salt. Okay, so now the eggs. You can use in your hand, put the eggs on. Look at the beautiful eggs. Put beside like this. 1 egg is good. And now you can put the topping with the shallot on top.
Wow.
And you spray it in. And I would love to have some green onion and cilantro. Just sprinkle it. Because you don't want to hiding the shrimp and some of the cilantro. Some people don't like cilantro, but I love cilantro. And these flowers, see that? You can put right here. And you have a very beautiful bowl with shrimp, with cilantro, and with leaf, everything. The leaf can fall out, look like this. It just look nice. But you can see everything. It's just amazing. Beautiful color. You can see how beautiful with the eggs, with the shrimp, with the soup. But you don't need to cover the whole thing with the soup. The soup just over the noodle a bit.
And we're going to come back here and enjoy that dish together. And my mom and I will be talking about some cultural stories. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're back here. We just put 2 beautiful bowls of Hu Tieu together, thanks to my mom, the wonderful chef here. And I'm so excited to be having a chat with her, mother to daughter, about her journey immigrating from Vietnam to Canada. Well, first of all, before we start eating and fill our bellies, do you want to just stand up and show everyone what you're wearing? Because this is beautiful.
All right.
You want to step up?
I'm wearing right now, that's a long dress, Vietnamese dress. So that is a more traditional dress. The color, you can pick the colors, right? But this dress means a lot for every single woman in Vietnam, because when they present to any occasion like special, they came out for the date, They came out on her birthday. In even wedding, they have the red colors for the wedding or the engagement. So every single one, when they was young, stopped by high school, they only wear this dress to school, but the white, pure white color, the dress, the same thing is a white. And when they growing up a bit, become professor, they wear very nice dress to go to teaching or to show in the meeting with everyone, to show the respect and show the culture. So with Vietnamese, if you see the woman Vietnamese, you never forget the dress they wear. Even Obama, Michelle wife wear the dress like this.
Mom, so what's this dress called?
So this dress called áo dài. So áo dài, that means dài is a long and áo is the blouse. Yes.
I just wanted to show off her beautiful dress because actually this all of our áo dài, we make them custom in the villages of Vietnam.
In Vietnam.
We don't have anyone here to make them, so every time we go back home, we make them there and bring it back here. So, Mom, to start us off, how did you even get to Canada? To be honest.
Well, that's a long time ago. So I came to Canada. When I was young, during the Vietnamese War, we so poor, and so my sister and my brothers went to America by boat. You must know the refugee, so they have to escape from Vietnam by boat, and the boat is contain about 150 people or more, and they can die in the ocean or pirate of Thailand or hungriness and everything like that. So to get to America or Canada or any different country, that is a challenge. They spend their life for it. So, but for me, how lucky I am, I didn't have a chance to go by the refugee boat because I was young, plus I don't have money to pay for the boat owner. So, when I finished college, during the time college, I met a man. So that man heard about me because, have to say, 30-something years ago, I was got nominated to the student beauty contest. So I won in that town. So I become the beauty queen in the town. It's called Huế, that imperial town. Not the Hoi An. Hoi An is where I made the noodle, but Huế is imperial city. So I won the beauty contest. So my man now, he heard about me.
My dad.
So he ran from south, that Bien Hoa, came down to Huế, that means about 800 kilometers, to looking for me. Who is that? So finally, he couldn't get the way to get to my house. So he met the neighbor, is a brothers of my friends of my brother, so he can get into my house. And that time I wasn't there, but he met my dad. How lucky he was at that time, because my dad and his dad was a friends in France. That means in the years of 38, 40, long time ago, when they joined in the World War II in France for 10 years.
What are the odds that?
So guys, it's just a fate.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
my dad so happy to meet the son of his old friends. They serving in war in France. So my man now, he's so lucky. He have a chance to talk to my dad, and my dad just like him right away at the time. So few hours and come back, and I met him, and I don't know, I fall in with him. And of course, he heard about me and he fell in with me. And here I am. After 6 months, we dating, and he left me to go to Canada. And we have challenged for 2.5 years long distance. Just wrote letters, just only phone, collect calls. 2.5 years later, I came to become his wife in the 1992.
So he sponsored you.
And he sponsored me as a fiancé. And all we connection is he wrote me 98 letters by hand. I wrote him 95 letters by hand. And we tell how about Canada, how about Vietnam. And I have a I have one stupid question for him at that time in letters. How big the moon in Canada? And he just laughed at. He said, the moon, where is the moon, is the same. But I thought Canada bigger than Vietnam, the moon have to be bigger. So, but here, now I am, after we've been together now and I have her, she's only 27. And
don't reveal my age, I'm just kidding.
So that's how I came to Canada. And
I'm already eating, Mom. I'm sorry, I'm just so hungry.
To be honest, I'm a bit culture shock at that time because I finished university, I become a teacher, then I came in here, I challenged myself with everything falling off back in Vietnam.
How did that feel, stepping off that plane, seeing someone that you hadn't seen for 2 years?
I lost my mom when I was 10. So before I made decision, I came to my mom in her graveyard and I prayed to her. I said, Mom, if you send me the right man, because I challenged my life to come, left my, I will leave Dad, I will leave the country. I came for a man far away. But if you think it's a right man, just give me the strong feeling to go. And if not, and give me the feeling not to go.
Like a sign.
So after I prayed to her, and I knew it, he's I can spend my life on. So I decided to go. Before I went to Canada, he called, he wrote letters, should I came back and have married with you? But if I came back and then no vacation, no money when you come to Canada. So if you want to come, then just come, sponsor fiance. So I come and we have wedding in Canada. But that is kind of really culture shock for me because before I left the country, I have to have two families to make official wedding, but just only bride, no groom at all. So I hold his picture, go around on the table, almost about 70 people in my hometown neighborhood, because they know my wedding. They came to congrats to me, but they only see my husband's picture and me. So that's really odd wedding, but it's for the faith and for the love. I sacrifice everything.
Aw, that's nice, Mom. And the wedding too, like it's a huge part of our culture, right? Having the blessing of the villages, which is one of the reasons why she wanted to have the wedding in Vietnam, even though that meant that my dad might not be there, but she'd still have the two families come together. And that's such a huge significance in our culture to have all the members of our community present. And I actually brought a photo of what that looked like. I didn't find a photo of my mom holding a photo of my dad, but I couldn't find that one. But there's a photo of the wedding parade. You never answered the question, Mom. When you stepped off that airplane.
So when I stepped on the airplane, I pray all the time because I said, if I do the wrong way, I don't know how to do. But please give me the right thing, right way to make decision. So I went to, at that time, my English is very bad. To be honest, I learned few, but it's really cannot understand or cannot listen any words. So I stepped on the airplane, I arrived to Vancouver, and my fiance gave me the phone number. I phoned to tell him I'm in Vancouver, and I met a roommate of him, and he answered me, "Oh, I don't know who is that Tom. Who's you talking about? I don't know him. He's not here." So you know how I feel at that time. I just feel like I dropped from the sky down to the deep hole. My heart just squeezed off. I said, that means I get the wrong person. How can I do? So I said, okay, just let it be. Whatever is ever. My mom already tell me go and I'm go. And I get in the airplane again. After 6 hours waiting in Vancouver, I came to the Victoria in the late, almost 8 o'clock p.m. and outside it's snowing. And I saw my fiancé there with the bouquets of 24 roses, red. And I cannot say anything. I'm not run to him. I'm just cry. I'm just crying, just like the heavy rain. And I just stayed right there, stood right there, just like numb, cannot say anything. And he came to me, he said, "You came to me, thank you." So
That's such a sweet story, Mom.
Thank you so much for asking.
Aww.
My daughter never
I
know
love
that story at all.
Well, you left off the part that he looked completely different because he was a skeleton when you saw him again at the
Exactly.
airport.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I saw him, he just skinny, long hair, because he worked so hard.
When you came to Canada, what was like? How is that different? The culture you walked into versus the culture that you grew up with in Hui. What would you say was the main difference between you're growing up your childhood in Hui and coming to Canada? What would be the biggest difference? Culture shock.
So in Vietnam, when I was a child growing up to be, I spent the whole childhood from 6 years old till when I grown up to be 20, almost 23 when I left Vietnam. The whole childhood is just beautiful. You can spend the whole day long and night as well in the field. They call it a rice field, and you can do hide and seek there. You can run and you can eat or you can sleep in the rice field, and you feel freedom. You feel air. You feel everything. But when you come to Canada, everything people isolated, house by house. They don't open the door unless you have anything, very close neighbor. And that is I don't know. At that time, I know I have no English. Scary. Even I hear the phone call, my husband at that time worked the whole day long. And if I hear the phone call, I run to the room and close the door because I cannot answer the phone. Or I hear the TV talk in English, I get a headache because I didn't understand anything. And take me so long to learn it until I start to have a bit depressed. And I always cry. But then my husband told me, no, you have to stand up yourself and learn. And after that, about 3 months later, I joined into after marriage. 3 months later, I joined in the high school for learning English because at that time I'm so tiny and people thought I'm just a high school girl. So they accept me to the high school. But when they accept me to high school, after 4 months, I find out I was pregnant. That's good. And I feel embarrassing to go to the high school because that's a culture. You can be student in high school and pregnancy. So I didn't go to high school. Then after that, I have her after. Then 9 months later, when she grew in about 9 months, I joined in Formosan College. And that time I learned, I walk with her, I put her in stroller, get on the bus, go downtown to learn English every day, to make myself more strong, to meet people, to know the culture of Canada and join me into the culture of Canada. So I can be myself and I can be stronger and I can live in Canada more confident. So here I am.
Oh, that's so nice. I didn't know that you were in high school and then you weren't in high school.
Lots of story you don't know, my dear.
Oh. So, if I'm understanding correctly, one of the biggest culture shocks for you is how, and I feel this too when I go and visit Vietnam. In Vietnam, everyone in the village knows each other. It's very open. It's very community oriented. You know, you run down the street and all the neighbors' parents know your friends and the children. Whereas over here, you still have that sense of community, but you really have to look for it. And I think it's really great that you put yourself out there, Mom, and tried to learn English even though you were so terrified to learn.
Yes. So after I be in college to learn English for almost a year, so I joined in right away. I joined in any communities, volunteers. I work on the neighborhood to help for donation with Canadian diabetes or anything helping for communities. And of course, when I walk in with it, is Annie on the stroller with me every day. If I'm tired, I'll be home, but if not, then I just walk in to help people with volunteering. So to be that way, I feel happier because I said Canada is a second home for me, and Canada will help me everything to stronger, to learn more. And after I have English, then I start working. I work as in the lab. I came back to Camosun. I take culinary arts. So I cooking to charities and donation money.
Quick question. You worked in a lab before culinary arts?
So when I got English, so I came to Camosun. I work in the lab to help people to analyze on the work. We prepare for glassware with everything I do. So I worked in the lab for 5 years, and everyone loved me because even my English is broken, but I still feel happy to helping them. Then after that, I joined Camosun again for cooking culinary arts. Then after 5 years, work in the very nice hotel, Coast Harborside Hotel or Grand Pacific Hotel for dining cuisine and or any wedding
banquet chef?
Yes, for banquet chef, wedding function. So I do that, and I do very fast, and I love cooking as I was young. Then now I changing career again. I do all the skin care and everything. So I'm happy now.
Oh, there's a question from the audience. So am I your only daughter?
First daughter, I have her. Then I have to go back school for building my English, for building my career. And of course, I have my husband to finish his career is a chemistry. He's a chemist and scientist now. So I paused. To be honest, I forget to have another child that time. Then I keep go to school and working together until she's 6 years old. Then I find out like I need another child. So I rushed to have another child, and lucky Buddha gave it to me, helping me have another child. So I have another girl. She's 20 right now, and she's in the UBC, BCIT in Vancouver. And she's a daughter. She's a beautiful girl as well.
And thank you so much for coming here today and joining my mom and I as we embarked on this mission of making Hu Tieu, or Kim's ultimate noodle soup. And we hope you enjoyed it at home as well.
Thank you, everyone.